you can't trust someone you don't know. You can't know someone who is not vulnerable to you. And sometimes you can be vulnerable to someone you don't trust.
Hi everybody, welcome to Mike and Christelle podcast, where family meets faith and fun.
Today we have an exciting subject for you. We are talking about medical history. And the question is, should medical history affect your decision in dating?
Yeah, but before we continue, remember to subscribe and click the notification bell so you do not miss when we post new episodes.
We are also on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow us there where we update stuff.
Yeah.
Update stuff.
Yeah.
So, babe, what is wrong about hiding medical history before marriage or before start dating? You know, that's what we are talking about today, like your mental illness or family history, you know, stuff like that.
Hiding, what do you mean by hiding?
Hiding means, like you start dating, but you don't disclose some of these things. You know, some families have like diabetes in the family or things like that. Or some people are struggling with mental illnesses, but they feel like they don't want to be sharing that with their future or potential spouse or something.
So this is like people who are dating.
Yes. And the question is, at which point should you disclose everything about your medical health, your medical history? At which point in a relationship should you even do it, or should you get married and then let the person discover it later?
I think medical history is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal because something are hereditary, something comes from
your parent and
from parents to, they pass it on.
Yeah.
And so something like that needs to be communicated.
You feel like it needs to be communicated. Yeah, we are not talking about health in general, because anybody goes through a health issue at some point in life. So we're not saying, we're not trying to discriminate someone who is sick, or because anyone can get sick. So we want to be clear here. This is not about discriminating people with certain sicknesses or not. This is just about history, like what has happened to you before, or a condition that you currently have, and someone comes to your life and they want to date you. Should you disclose to them everything? At which point in a relationship should you say, you know what, I'm struggling with this, or there is this in my family, there is this in my family. I personally think that this should be a conversation very early in the relationship.
What do you mean early? What time? What is early?
When you begin to find that the person is getting serious with you, like when emotions are beginning to build, I think this is one of the subjects that people have to discuss.
How do you start with it? Today, I would like us to talk about medical history.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a quite a
darling, would you like to talk about medical
subject.
History?
I think so. I think we should be open about this. I would encourage even people to talk about it. I don't know, you and I maybe will discuss medical history before even we start talking about when we will get married. Why? Because it's something that it's important. It's important to discuss. I think it's important to discuss medical history earlier in the relationship.
I agree. I think it's important to discuss it early.
Yes.
What I'm thinking is, do you talk about like your personal medical history, or you talk about the whole family, your family, where you come from, or just you personal?
It's a complicated subject. It is complicated.
Yeah.
But I have my reasons why I think it's important to talk about it. And how far you go about it maybe will depend on how intimate or close you are becoming, to talk about your parent, talk about other things. And the first reason for me is care. If you have to care for me, I need to tell you everything about my health so that you can care for me well. Some medical conditions require continuous, like you need to be on medication.
Yeah.
You need to know that I'm on medication, or they require a certain diet. You don't eat this thing or you don't eat that thing. Those things need to be disclosed earlier. So for you to care for me well, I need to tell you the things that are happening in my body.
Yeah.
Or if it's a mental illness, for example, or something, a disorder, or let's say depression or something, I think it's important to disclose that earlier. So when I'm depressed, and God forbid, I'm not depressed now, but I'm saying when your partner is depressed, you need to know that this is not like he hates me or she hates me or she's angry or upset or something. It's just a condition that tomorrow's things will be good. And that's the first reason, I think, to allow the other person to care for you.
To care for you, I agree.
You need to be open.
Yeah, because I've seen couples, I watched a story about the couple who did not know that the other one had a mental sickness, and it caused a lot of issues between them because nobody knows until the doctor revealed whatever that is that was going on from the spouse, and then they gave them some tools on how to deal with that.
Yes. And that will lead me to the second point that I think is unfair, which is trust, babe.
Unfair.
It's unfair not to tell your future future partner or your spouse or someone who is coming to date you that you are going through something, because I call it unfair because trust is built on vulnerability. So there is this circle that they talk about. You can't trust someone you don't know. You can't know someone who is not vulnerable to you. And sometimes you can be vulnerable to someone you don't trust. You don't know which comes first. But yes, in order for me to trust you, I need to know you. And in order for me to know you, you need to be vulnerable with me or to me, toward me.
Yeah.
And that's what is needed in the relationship. You need to be vulnerable enough to talk about all your weaknesses so that I can know you, and knowing you means I can trust you. Can people use it against one another? Yes, I think people can.
Your weaknesses.
Yeah, people.
Is it a weakness?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it's a weakness. A sickness is a weakness. I think so. Yeah, it's not.
I think it's a sickness.
It's not a positive thing too. It's
not a weakness.
It's not a character
thing. It sounds like a weakness. It sounds more like something that you
chose.
Maybe you did not choose, but you are like, it's, I don't know. A sickness is like you didn't choose it. It's just happened. Maybe not a weakness. Okay. Maybe a challenge. Maybe challenge. A challenge. I think I think it's fair to share the challenge that you have with your spouse or the person you're dating, because before you get engaged, or because
something.
You need to have a plan, action plan.
Yes,
for that,
how to deal with it. Yes, I think so. I think you need to share it so that you can plan together. And my third point would be, you ask a question: should you disclose the whole thing about your family, like your parent? And my answer will be yes. Why? Because there are certain conditions that are hereditary, so it can go to your children. You need to know that we are going into this relationship, and I'm not laughing because I'm happy. It's just my way of responding to the irony of this. Like it's important for the person to know that this relationship we are entering in, it's possible that our children can have this condition. And I think it's important for us to go into that relationship or that union, that commitment, knowing that there is a potential of our children to have this condition. Yeah,
and have an action plan for that.
Exactly. Yeah. Or some people would say, okay, we're not going to have children,
that's an action plan. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's an action plan. Yes.
We're not going to have children. Or if we have children, we'll do this and this and
this.
Yes,
for them. But I have a question for you, babe. Do you think to be sure, you should ask one another to do a medical test before engagement?
Medical tests?
Yes.
Like do blood tests?
Let's do blood tests. Let's check if you have this or I have that. Let's check everything.
You know what? Yeah, I think I think it's good to check the blood type thing, because the blood type, remember, We did the blood
Yeah, we did
type.
it. You and I, we are in this. We have the same.
We did the blood type. I think
type.
the blood type thing. Yeah, I think so.
Not just medical, like to check everything.
I don't know. I feel like it's like.
Tell us what you think, guys. Tell us what you think. If is it okay to ask your partner?
You know what? I don't.
If you should go through a medical test, both of you, to make sure you know you have proof that you've shared everything.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I have a feeling I have like a double answer to that. I feel like
as a pastor,
it sounds like it sounds like a
me.
idea.
I feel no. I can't force people to do it, but as a pastor, I can try to ask
Advice?
people. I haven't done. We haven't done it in our marriage counseling.
No,
but we have. I feel like it's a good thing people to do, like to do some medical tests, just to be able to check if everything is fine with your health.
Yeah. And what if something are not fine?
Oh.
What do you do?
Love covers the multitude
yes.
of all those things. I understand that the solution to this should not be necessarily a breakup. That's not what I'm talking about.
Because I think the reason why some people don't want to share is because they're scared that they're going to break up. Yeah.
But I think when you disclose, when you disclose a medical condition that is challenging to your partner, give them the right to sign off, to,
What?
allow them, tell them, if I will tell you something, this is what is going on in my family, we have this condition. You are free. If this will be a deal breaker, that's fine.
Oh my goodness.
I think so. It's not a chain. Marriage is a choice.
I don't want deal breakers.
They have to choose you despite the sickness.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And they have also to. It's not. This may be controversial, but I think it's okay if they choose to go to move
to stay
to go
to stay.
Okay.
To go. Yeah, I agree. I think it's okay
if they choose to go.
If they choose, but at least
I don't think it means they hate you. I don't think it means they hate you if they choose to go.
Well, it doesn't mean they love you either.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it means they just can't. That's not.
They can't handle
that. Yeah.
That's quite an interesting question. Okay, we can't judge people. I think people can have different opinions on this. Like, you tell us what you think. You tell us if someone walks away because of
you disclose the medical situation. Yeah.
Does it mean they loved you or not? It's quite a complex conversation, but I think couples should sit together, talk about it, and come to an agreement and commit to one another despite the medical condition.
Overall, this is an important thing to talk about.
It is.
It's very important to talk about medical history because there's a lot of things involved when you get married or when you have children or whatever. You're going to care for each other. It's very important to talk about this before.
Do you think that it's a lack of trust to ask someone to give you, it can show lack of trust to ask someone to talk to you about their medical history?
I don't think it's lack of trust. I think it's an important thing, but I wouldn't come up front saying, I want you to show me your medical history.
Yeah.
I would say, I would like us to talk about this is important.
Yeah.
And this is my medical history. And then ask you if you would like to show me. I think so. I don't think if you come and ask for
medical history, it has to be both ways.
It has to be both. It has to be you're the one who's bringing this up. So whoever's bringing this up, bring your medical
history. Lead by example.
Yes, show it.
Oh, medical history.
What do you think?
I don't think it's lack of trust. I think it's an important question to ask someone you are going to spend the rest of your life with to talk to you about their family medical history, their own medical history. I will go even to tell you what they've experienced. If they've caught TB before and it was treated, all the things that have happened, the kind of surgeries they've been through, all the things they've been through needs to be disclosed earlier in the relationship.
Yeah. What if it was some traumatic situation where maybe that some kind of abuse they went through and then dealt with it with a counselor or whatever?
All
and then,
that.
They're fine now.
I believe all that should be disclosed. Mental illnesses, physical illnesses, family history, parents, because all these things they pop up somehow, somewhere
absolutely.
in your life.
Yeah.
Things in your I'm telling you, as you grow up in your 20s, nothing may show up. In your 30s, nothing may show up. When you start to have children, or in your 40s, 50s, the things that your parents went through start to happen, and things like that.
And some of the things, some of the things that people went through back there, it was because of lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And so maybe the fact that for example, there's some type of diabetes that is more, I don't know, but they said I'm not a medical professional, but it says that it's more of a lifestyle.
Yes.
And so you could decide, both of you, to have this lifestyle together and then not get it in the future.
And that's what I mentioned before. I said, I want you to care for me, to care for each other. We need to know each other's medical history so we can do it with knowledge. We can do it well, efficiently and effectively. I believe it's important to share medical history with one another.
And so how would you approach it? Like, how would you approach it? How would you bring it up? Like, how would you advise? How do you advise? Like, what would you tell someone if they wanted to ask this question to their partner, whoever they want to
I'm
marry?
In my personality is quite straightforward. So maybe if you have my type of personality, you can just go straight and say, can we talk about our medical history?
That's
I would like
good.
to know. I would like to know.
Well, you're saying it well. That's really...
Not your medical history.
Can we talk about our medical history? That's cool. History. I like that.
And the reason really is not that we can decide if we'll be together or not. The reason is if we can care for each other well. If it will end up, being something that requires a breakup,
oh my goodness.
Take it. It's better to break up during a dating period than to break a marriage.
That's good.
Yeah. So just talk about your medical history earlier in your relationship so that you don't end up divorcing later, or you don't end up regretting your decision and live a miserable life later. Talk about your medical history with your partner early in your relationship. I believe that is wise. And just be honest. Talk about it openly. Openly. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's good to be honest.
Yes.
With your partner.
Yes.
I keep saying spouse. You're not spouse.
You're not yet a spouse.
But it's very important to have honesty.
Yes. Yes.
With everything, because what I think we're talking about medical history, but there's so many things you have to talk about before, that are important.
Yeah, if you decide to overcome everything they tell you and then you decide to get married, you know that you are responsible for whatever consequences. You go into it together. Everyone deserves love.
Absolutely.
And everyone maybe the word deserve is a strong word, but yes, everyone deserves to be loved.
Yeah. And
it is up to you to decide if you're going to love that person despite their sicknesses, despite of their sicknesses.
Yeah.
If it was you who had that sickness, how would you like to be treated? Maybe that should be the question to ask yourself before you walk away. Would you like someone to leave you because of your medical history? Or you would like someone to take you for who you are with all your medical history? I will leave that question to you, but that's what I would conclude with.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope this was insightful. Remember to talk about your medical history and to subscribe. And click the notification bell.
See you.
See you next time. Bye.